Tonight on the South Today, a man's being charged with murder after allegedly stabbing a 20-year-old to death in Momona. A near century-and-a-half tram is hitting the tracks again soon after an extensive overhaul. And a Dunedin woman isn't letting blindness stop her from trekking every single street in the city. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Hannah Wilkins. The victim, who was stabbed to death at the weekend, has been named, while the man charged over the incident at Momona near Dunedin has appeared in court.
The victim of a fatal stabbing in Momona on Saturday has been named as his alleged killer faces court today. The victim was named in court documents as Grant Jobson. A 20-year-old man has been charged with murder and appeared in the Dunedin District Court today. He was granted interim name suppression, was remanded in custody and is due to appear in court again in November. Emergency services were called to an incident in Miller Road on Saturday afternoon in Momona on the road to Dunedin Airport. One person was found with stab wounds and a 20-year-old man was taken into custody. The injured man was taken to hospital and his condition was initially described as moderate. However, he succumbed to his wounds and died on Saturday evening. A local resident didn't want to give her name, but said there was a large fight on the corner with 2 or 3 people involved. Another resident believed the altercation was about the victim's dog. Police say initial inquiries suggested the parties were known to each other, and a scene examination was completed on Sunday. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Time has run out on the ambitious Dunedin Steamer Basin development proposal, with money loaned for the project returning to the government unspent. The vision for a spectacular waterfront facelift unveiled in Dunedin in 2017. The government's Provincial Growth Fund contributed almost $20 million in early stage funding to help get the project off the ground. Now the deadline for progress has passed and new Mayor Jules Raddick says the design plans are unlikely to be visited anytime soon. Newly released documents reveal the project is just one of dozens that were forced to cancel their contracts with the government funder after failing to meet key project milestones. New Zealand's oldest steam-powered tram, and one of only 3 left in the world, is set to re-enter service this Labour weekend. A 141-year-old Kitson steam-powered tram is set to hit the Christchurch tracks again after an extensive 5-year overhaul.
An important piece of Canterbury's heritage is back on track. After an extensive 5-year restoration, the Tramway Historical Society's 141-year-old Kitson steam-powered tram is set to return to public duty.
We're just very glad to make it go again. It's been a long job, so anything that goes on for several years, get there eventually.
Kitson Steam Tram number 7, or Kitty as she is affectionately known, had its boiler replaced, bodywork repaired and repainted.
Oh, it's lovely to drive, since especially now we've got a few less knocks and bangs in it, so it's quite pleasant.
The steam-powered tram is the only working example of 3 left in the world, and is the only survivor of 8 imported from the UK in 1881, operating its whole life in Christchurch. In its past life, Kitty would haul trailers behind it filled with picnic goers heading from Cathedral Square to Sumner Beach, 3 times a day. However, Hunter says it wouldn't have been a fast ride.
I think it'd be probably good for, if you really got it going, 30k an hour, but we just trundle along, sort of 10, 15, that's good enough.
The historic steam tram will be the star of this Labour weekend's extravaganza event at Ferrymead Heritage Park. In Christchurch, the South Today.
Iconic Dunedin fashion leader, fundraiser and founder of a top modelling agency, Margaret Farry-Williams, has died at age 89. Margaret Farry-Williams was a well-respected matriarch of the fashion industry in Dunedin, founding the Vanity Walk modelling agency in 1965. The 89-year-old died on Saturday in Auckland after a lengthy illness. She ran the Vanity Walk agency for almost 40 years through to 2006, which was established for young women seeking to become models, but opened up to men as male modelling grew in popularity. Mrs Farry-Williams moved to Auckland in 2012 to be with family. The hunt for the driver of a car which struck and killed 28-year-old Sean Bewis in Mornington this year has come to an end.
A 35-year-old man's arrest marks a major turning point in Operation Unity, the police investigation into Sean Buis' death. Police say Buis was struck and killed by a vehicle on July 21st after an altercation along Eglinton Road in Mornington. Police had previously seized a vehicle suspected of being involved and had appealed to the public for further information. The suspect has been granted interim name suppression and will be held in custody pending an appearance in court charged with murder.
A pair of persistent Dunedin pedestrians have completed a huge milestone challenge many would only dream of. Julie Woods marking Blind and Low Vision Awareness Week by finishing off a 3-year-long effort to climb every street in Dunedin.
44 suburbs, 1,003 streets, roads and avenues. Julie Woods can now boast a claim few can match. She's finally finished walking every street in Dunedin. What started out as a weekend walking habit turned into a full-blown challenge in 2019 when her guide and walking partner Joe Stoddard suggested they tackle every street in Dunedin. Julie, who is blind, has also walked multiple marathons. She says not even a pandemic could put the brakes on this challenge.
Well, of course, lockdown got in the way. COVID came along, but it was great because we got to have micro adventures.
Although needing a little assistance with navigation, she says the biggest challenge is motivation, especially given Dunedin's tricky topography.
Maps are flat and Dunedin isn't. There's lots of hills, and I'd have to say at some point it's like, oh my goodness, how are we going to do this?
With the challenge to explore Dunedin's inner 44 suburbs complete, the walkers say they are now planning to get a bigger map, with plenty more streets to explore in the greater Dunedin area. In Dunedin, the South Today.
FA Arkane, still to come on the South Today. A Southland Lions Club get to work raising thousands of dollars for the community through second-hand books. And Dunedin locals paint the city all colours of the rainbow in a weekend fun run.
Earth is a planet of extremes. Extreme places and extreme animals. But some animals are more extreme than others. Join us as we count down to find the most unusual, the most extraordinary, the most extreme.
Every day the team at Gillian supports grieving families at their time of need, from answering your questions to organising a farewell that reflects the wishes of your loved one. We can help. Call Gillian's today.
Great Britain has a collection of varied landscapes and countryside to rival anywhere else in the world. And the best way to see it is to walk.
Tēnā koe, welcome back. Some of Gore's Young at Heart locals were thinking green last week with another top effort for their annual second-hand book sale. The Pakeke Lions Club organising this year's event, raising thousands of dollars.
Locals scanning through the array of second-hand goods on sale. The Pakeke Lions Club put together Gore's annual second-hand book sale at the Hokanui Pavilion last week. It was held in October this year to line up with the school holidays. Sale coordinator Douglas Dixie says there were hundreds of people waiting outside before the doors even opened.
They just swarmed in, and they swarmed out just as fast, but we were flat out trying to serve them.
There were around 200 boxes packed full of books at the 3-day sale. The club raising more than $20,000, with around 80% of books taken home by avid readers.
And a lot of people through, and positive remarks about the quality of what we have.
Dixie says the event was a community effort, with local high school students and police lending a hand. The money raised will go towards supporting local projects and help run the club's paper, cardboard and plastic wrap recycling factory. In Gore, the South Today.
Vibrant colours flew through the air at Logan Park yesterday as families got stuck into the night and day rainbow run. Runners started out with clean shirts, but it didn't last long, no one making it through unscathed. People chose between either the 3 or 5 kilometre course, where coloured powder was hurled at them from every station. The event has been running for around 5 years. Night and Day manager Matthew Lane says the event had gone well, with more than 1,000 people running through the gauntlet. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Grant Jobson was stabbed to death in Momona over the weekend. A man's now been charged and appeared in court. Kitty, the 141-year-old steam tram, hits the tracks again this Labour weekend in Christchurch. And blind woman Julie Woods has walked every street in Dunedin in time to mark Blind and Low Vision Awareness Week. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, and we welcome the editor Barry Stewart. Hello Barry.
Hello Hannah.
What's in your papers tomorrow?
Well, the local body elections continue. Defeated Gore District Mayor Tracy Hicks is going for a recount after losing to 23-year-old Ben Bell by just 8 votes.
Fair enough, yep.
There we go, we'll see what happens there. And also on politics in our editorial tomorrow. We look at New Zealand First and its possible role in the next election. And the question is asked, will Winston Peters be seen as a voice of common sense or as a figure set on dividing New Zealanders? So we discuss that issue in the editorial tomorrow.
Nice.
And a first for Dunedin and Otago in the 153-year history of the New Zealand Law Society, there is an Otago president.
Fantastic.
Anderson Lloyd partner Fraser Barton of Dunedin has been elected to that role.
Oh, well done.
So
good
that's
on
pretty
him.
exciting.
We look forward to reading more about that in the paper.
Thank you.
Thanks, Barry. And time now for a look at the weather.
The South Today weather, proudly brought to you by MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Looking at the situation, a cool southwesterly airflow affects the region till about Friday, bringing showers to the coasts, but mostly fine weather inland. Heading to the top of the South Island, fine with southwesterlies up in Nelson tomorrow and a high of 18 degrees. 17 on the west coast, cloudy with light winds, and Christchurch will be windy with 16 and afternoon showers. Travelling to South Canterbury and North Otago now. Moderate southwesterlies with mid-afternoon showers up top for Ashburton and Timaru with highs of 15 degrees, while Oamaru gets fresh winds and late showers along with 14 as the high. Westwards now to the Central Lakes, well cloudy with southwesterlies through here tomorrow. Highs of 15 for Wanaka and Queenstown and 16 down in Alexandra. Heading further south now, fresh southwesterlies and showers all the way through here, up to 14 in Balclutha and Gore, with 13 down on the east coast at the Catlins. Now down to the deep south. Showers and southwesterlies tonight after a warm day in Invercargill, down to 7 degrees. Mostly cloudy tomorrow and Wednesday with showers on and off, along with fresh gusty southwest winds and highs of 12 or 13 degrees. And lastly, heading to Dunedin. Northerlies and a low of 6 overnight. Tomorrow brings cold southwesterlies and light showers, up to 13 is the high. Midweek, Wednesday, cloudy, cool and windy with a top temperature of 15 degrees. And that's the news this Monday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. And you can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. We'll see you again tomorrow. Ka kite pōpō.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.